One. We are joined now by Major League Baseball All-Star, Triple Crown winner, breakfast connoisseur, Brent Rooker. Brent, I'll be in Chicago a little later this year. I need to know what your top choice is for breakfast in the Windy City.
Brass Tack is a good one.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite ones that I go to. And the other one, what's that place called? It has the spicy chicken tinga tacos. Beatrix is another one. Both pretty we stay right on Michigan there, so both pretty walkable from kind of the center of the city, and both very good.
So this is the kind of content I needed you for. That's why I brought you to the show, is to talk Chicago breakfast. I asked former Rebel Seth Smith this earlier. I'm going to ask you now. When I say opening day, what does that mean for you?
It just kind of brings back a very specific feeling of it being a little bit cold, but being excited for the season. The first taste of a real game in Duty Noble, which was always exciting and always fun. And just kind of a real sense of, if nostalgia is the right word, but just it was always a very specific feeling in college. You knew it. You knew it was going to be cold. You knew it was going to, the sun was going to be going down as you played that first late game of the year, and it was going to be an optimism around the stadium and excitement in the clubhouse, and guys just excited to be out there playing together.
Did you have a specific opening day where that stood out for you, or a day where you had a big home run or anything that on that first day of the season?
I think we were 0-4 on opening days in my career. So no, we didn't have many good ones. I'm trying. We might have won. We might have 1-3. We might have won my redshirt freshman year. We definitely lost the first year I was there to Western Carolina. In 2016 we lost to Florida Atlantic. 2017 we lost to Texas Tech. So we didn't do real well on opening days during my time.
I was thinking about that 16 team earlier today, and what an odd season that was, because in the non-conference you guys struggled at times. I remember that crazy midweek game. Was it with Western Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky or somebody where there was a big lead that got away from you, but then you ended up winning the SEC. We were talking about that earlier. When you think about these non-conference games, do people underestimate how important they are to a baseball season?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's those games are tests in a lot of different ways, and they're normally tests in different ways than the weekend games are, right? Because most of the time you're better than the opponent, you're more talented than the opponent, you have a better roster. It's just kind of about showing up, and doing what you need to do to make sure you win the games that you need to win. And it's not necessarily the same kind of challenge as playing a road weekend series in the SEC is, but they present a unique set of challenges on their own. They're very important to kind of figure out and overcome if you want to have the kind of season that you want to have.
When we talk about your time in the pros, and you're coming off of a couple of great seasons there with the Athletics, and get rewarded with that big contract extension this year, when you're just a regular guy, though. So when somebody tells you, hey, we're going to pay you X amount, and it's that kind of number, what goes through your head when you hear that?
It's a little bit of disbelief, right? Just the kind of the track that my professional career took. I made it to the big leagues fairly quickly, and after 2.5 years or so, 3 years in the minor leagues, and then just kind of stalled out from there and couldn't really establish my footing, couldn't really find a permanent home, couldn't perform well enough to stick full time, and was just had to grind out some years going back and forth between AAA and the big leagues, trying to have that consistent success that it takes to establish yourself as a full-time major league player. So to kind of go through those things, establish myself as late as when I did, and for it eventually to pay off and reach that kind of number in that contract was it was very cool. It was very rewarding, but it was pretty surreal at the same time.
When you think about where you are in your career and your age, do you feel like you're in your prime right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to come into the next 5 seasons of this contract, hopefully 6. Continue to produce at a high level and take our team. We're excited about where we are. We've come a long way in the last 2 years. We think we're heading in the right direction. We've got a lot of optimism going into spring training this season. So I'm looking to have my best years in the next few years to come, which can help our team win a lot of baseball games.
Yeah, I talked to Jake Mangum a couple weeks ago, and we had him on. It looks like he's going to be the next Diamond Dog to make it into the majors. He's on the 40-man, and I just feel pretty confident he's going to get that call up this time around. What is that Diamond Dog fraternity like in baseball? I have to assume that you guys stay pretty tight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's always, there's so many of us in the league right now that it seems like you're seeing somebody every week or every other week during the season. playing a series against them. So always making sure to check in on guys. We stay in contact. We make sure to say hello, before every game we play each other, every series or whatever it is. The guys that you play with and the guys you're closest with, you go out to eat and hang out together during those series where you're playing against each other. So it's a tight-knit group. It's cool to have as many of us in the league as we do, and it's part of what makes our program so special.
Do you stay closer to your former college teammates, or are you closer to the guys you're playing with now?
It's a combo. Those guys you played in college with, you made a lot of memories with. You spend a lot of time together. You make sure to keep up with those guys. And that, the cool part of baseball is you form new relationships every season because your team's a little bit different. The guys you're hanging out with are a little bit different. So you're making new friends. You're meeting new people and building those, a multitude of different relationships with different guys that kind of last you a long time.
You think about everything that's been going on with the athletics the past couple of years. Now that it seems to be settled and you know the team and its future and where they're going to be headed, does that take a load off of the team and the players to know, hey, now we can move forward at this point?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think while everything's kind of been up in the air and we've been in kind of a rebuild mode the last 2 years, we have done a good job of focusing internally on our team and doing what we can to improve as individuals, which in turn is going to make us better as a team. And we've definitely taken steps in the right direction in that aspect. Though to have just a little bit more, everything to be a little bit more concrete and more solidified, and moving in these next 3, maybe 4 years in Sacramento, then going to Vegas from there, it definitely should help. But I think we like where we're at. We like our team. We love our group of guys, and we think we're going to do some good things in the coming years.
Yeah, I know. I can guess what the team goals would be for you. You want to get into the playoffs. You want to see how far you can go. What are some individual goals for Brent Rooker this season?
I want to continue to get better. I think I've done that the last 2 years. I was a way better hitter in 24 than I was in 23. I don't think I'm done yet. I don't think I'm maxed out yet. I think I have things I can still improve on, steps forward I can still take, and that's always my focus, is to just improve myself. As far as individual goals go, just continue to take steps forward, get better both as a teammate, as a leader, as a producer on the field, and then just kind of ultimately see where that takes me.
Who's the pitcher in the majors right now that gives you the most trouble?
Logan Gilbert, Seattle.
Now, why is that, though? Because that's not the name I would have expected you to say. I thought you would have, I don't know who you would have thrown out, like Verlander or something. What about Gilbert gives you trouble?
He throws 100. He's like 6'8". He's got a slider, curveball, and a splitter. Like, he's really, really good. He's and then as far as names go, he's not maybe as recognizable yet as like Verlander, Scherzer, or Garrett Cole, guys like that. But in terms of how good he is and the kind of production and the numbers he puts up every year, he's definitely in that tier of guy. They're our division too, so we just see him all the time.
So
I'm hoping the law of averages takes over at some point, and I get him a few times, because right now he's got my number.
Well, so our producer just chimed in and said he's got a good head of hair too.
Yeah, very long hair, way more hair than I have for sure.
I gotta. Let me look here. Oh yeah, that's a good coif there. He's looking pretty sharp. All right, so we'll see how that goes for you, Brent. One more thing before we get out of here. Go back to your time at Mississippi State. I know you played in a ton of big games, had some big moments. Give me the one that stands out the most.
The Kentucky game, Super Bulldog weekend, is the easy answer, right? Mm-hmm. It's I think is that still the record for biggest on-campus crowd? It's either first or second, I think.
It's up there. We'll just say that.
Yeah, it was packed that night, Saturday night. Kentucky was top 5 in the country at the time, I think. I had a good game. I obviously hit the 3 home runs, and that's the game that definitely stands out the most. That, or when we won the SEC, we beat Arkansas in the last game of the SEC schedule to clinch the regular season conference title. That was a cool one too.
When you hit that third run, that legitimately might be the loudest I've ever cursed in the press box. When I said, "I can't believe he just bleeping did that." So
that was a fun one, man. That was a good memory.
There you go, Brent Rooker, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Next time you're in Starkville, Mangum said you owe us dinner. So
okay.